welcome to yet another day. I've got Avonmouth dig cut on a Sunday, a nice sunny Sunday, so I'm happy about that. I'm also happy about something else you may have noticed. Hopefully you can see it on that angled lens, but that's 14 foot. There's only one style of Actros unit in this yard that says 14 foot and not 13.8. Oh, that's the big ones. I've managed to wangle myself one of the larger ones. We do still have a few, but they're just literally here running out their mileage because they hire them for X amount of kilometres, somewhere in the regions of 500 and I think it's about 550,000, something like that. I think it's around that. I don't know. It's not gospel. And this one's got 450,000 on it. So they're keeping a few of them just to run them out because, well, they've paid for it. So they might as well get their money's worth, which is a bonus, because it means I can still drive them for a while longer. I'm not in one of those hate-filled little bastards. And to be fair, the issue I have with the smaller ones is not that they're small. I mean, they're pretty much as comfortable as every other fleet spec unit. They're a bit more bump because of the suspension, but when you're talking fleet spec, you're not talking lovely jubbly, you know, all the leather, all the whistles and bells. It's their blasted engines and that gearbox. The engines are just too wishy-washy. They don't have what they should. They really don't. And the gearbox overrules you. And you sit there and you think, no. Unless that vehicle has a sensor and knows exactly what's going on in front of it, as in everything that's going on in front of it, and it can work it out itself and it can go, yes, no, that's fine, that's great, yep, I can make that, I can do this. It should not overrule the driver. It just shouldn't. If I go like that on the gear select, I expect it to change. Done. That was crap, wasn't it? But I expect it to change. Wallop. When it overrules you, and you actually do that, you go 1, 2, and then you just hear a beep, and then it stays in 6. It's like, no. And then you go and it's like, oh, I better have changed to 4th. Yes, I know, I told you that, but never mind. That's what I have against those little bastards. I mean, even the Axos have their faults, don't get me wrong, they do, they have quite a few of them. But at least if I go flick on the gear selector, it changes. It doesn't argue with me, it goes, yeah, okay. Even if that means the rev gauge goes right round because I got it wrong. And it was changing as I flicked it down. It does happen. But no, the Euro 6 little bastards, they overrule you, and that to me is just dangerous. But anyway, like I said, I have I'm reading the date up here on the paperwork because obviously some of it's filled in by the desk to tell you where you're going and that kind of stuff. And the date 07/08/19. Yeah, somebody got that a little bit wrong. It's 2016 for anybody who might be watching this in the years to come. You might be sitting there going, yeah, but it's 2019 now. Yeah, trust me, today is 2016. 16. But anyway, like I said, I've got Avonmouth, I've got dig cut, so I'm going to crack on. I shall see you a bit later on down the road. Most likely when I'm at Avonmouth. Although I might stop in at Lead LMS services. It depends on the whole lot, because it's the summer holidays now, and it's a Sunday, and everybody's going everywhere, and so you never know what you're going to come across. Now usually this run isn't much more than about 10 hours, but we shall see. Oh, one other thing I do want to flick in very quickly, just whilst I'm finishing off filling this out, is when I'm in an Actros, because of the Fleetboard stuff that shows up on the dash, I can do that ending where I go through the Fleetboard results and percentages that I've got. When I'm in an Axor or anything else that doesn't have that, for example, if I end up in a Volvo and it's got something similar, you know, a newer Volvo that's got something maybe similar in it, or a DAF, for example, then I can. But if I'm in an Axor or an older vehicle that doesn't have it, then I won't be able to end like that. Okie dokie, just so as you're aware. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to crack on, so I shall see you a bit later on down the road. Well, I've arrived at Avonmouth. Job's a good one. Just waiting for somebody now. Everything seems to have been closed. I mean, it's 4:45 on a Sunday, so everything's shut. There's a couple of cars in the car park, so that'll be the staff who are going to unload me. They'll come out whenever. One thing, the Fleetboard. I decided on the way down here, there was a bit of traffic, as you probably saw, that I would try to get the best score I could on the way down to Avonmouth. Now, these Fleetboard things are basically designed, they're set up so that, or they're programmed I should say, and it's kind of a universal thing no matter what fleet it's attached to get around about the 10 miles a gallon, a little bit higher. Now what you're about to see is a little bit of footage I took just after I arrived. Now I reset my trip before I left the yard, and I reset the Fleetboard before I left the yard as well. Okay, so what you're about to see is this averaging 10.1 miles per gallon and my Fleetboard score all the way from evenly down to truck check. Okie dokie. Enjoy it, and it kind of proves the principle that these are set up for about 10 and a bit miles a gallon. Right, I know some people are going to be thinking I was pulling a sneaky one when I got to Avonmouth and that I reset the Fleetboard. I was thinking about that whilst I was offloading. Well, I'm here at Leedale Services. What I'm going to do, as you can probably tell, I've got my phone out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to record what it says now. So obviously the kilometres have changed, driving time has changed, everything like that has changed. And I'm going to go through and you can see what it says now. So you can see I haven't reset the trip. And there is no way I could reset the Fleetboard and get the percentages that I've got that close. It's almost impossible to do it, because if you cock up, the green bar doesn't just move a little bit, it really moves. It really knocks your percentage down, and you have to build it all the way back up from about 76. So, just so as you're aware, I shall press record now, and you can see it's 275.8 kilometres. So I've done more. Now I'll go across to Fleetboard, go OK. So you've got evenly, which is 98, which is, I believe, what it was. You've got roll brake, that's gone down 1%. I cocked up coming in here. I didn't roll for long enough, naughty me. And now you've got 100% all the way down to the bottom. Okie dokie. Now, what I was thinking was, as it was, what was it, 10.1 miles per gallon, wasn't it? I'll just double check to make absolutely certain that I'm not lying. I shall just go to my gallery and make sure. Yep, 10.1 miles per gallon when I got to Avonmouth. If I'm lying, you can check. You can double check it. Now I was 30,220 kilograms, which is roughly what I'm going to be when I go from Didcot back to Hatfield with the load. I better put that on there before I forget, because all I wanted to do was show you that without putting it on brake, because if I put it on brake it changes a few things. But anyway, I'll just quickly write this out. 1929 to there, DT. I'll add that together in a second. Now, that's driving pretty close to Fleetboard. That's driving pretty much spot on what you want to drive. Now, if anyone's curious about the even, where I've cocked it up, when I was leaving the yard, I left the yard, did the industrial estate, got to the Porsche garage, went round there. There's a pedestrian crossing, traffic light control. Went up to that, it was on red, so I had to stop. Pretty fine, no issues in Wales. No issues, no whatever. Anyway, it changed, I went to accelerate. And as I went to accelerate, I hit the brake pedal on the way to the accelerator. And it went all doolally. And it went evenly and all that kind of, it just knackered itself. So that's where I lost that percentage point, and evenly, like I said, I cocked up coming in here. I didn't roll for long enough, so I've lost a percentage point there as well, and it's all it's all evenly and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, moving on. What I shall do is when I get to Didcot, I shall reset everything. Okay? I'll pick up the trailer with a full load on. Well, it's not going to be 40 odd ton. It'll be around about the 30,000 mark. Hopefully their bridge is working, and I'll be able to get a print out, and I'll be able to say exactly how much it is at the end of the shift. And I'm going to drive back, but I'm not going to drive back to Fleetboard. I'm not going to drive back trying to get as close to 100% as I possibly can. I'm just going to drive back the way I normally drive back. Now, as you've seen, it's about 10.6 miles per gallon at the moment. But I've driven from Avonmouth to here, empty. That's unfair. Now, if where I'd stopped was exactly halfway between Avonmouth and Didcot and all that kind of stuff, because I'm at Lee Delamere Services and that's not halfway, then I would probably be tempted to reset it now. But given that I've got a lot further to go before I get to Didcot, it's a bit unfair to carry this test out running empty, because obviously I'm going to get around nearly 12 miles a gallon by the time I get to Didcot, and that's not going to change a huge amount if I'm careful when I'm going back to base. So it's going to skew the figures a bit. The other thing is, you'll see when I reset it, because the kilometres will tell you. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, yeah, but you're going to be slightly lighter, and all that kind of stuff. Going from Hatfield to Avonmouth, I used the A1M, the M25, the M4. And there was a bit of traffic. Not a huge amount. It was straight all the way down the M4 to make up for the little tiny bit of traffic that I did get stuck in on the M25. When I go from Didcot back to Hatfield, I'm going to be Didcot, little industrial area, the A34, the ring road round Oxford onto the 40, down the 40, M40, M25. So I'm going to have the traffic lights, roundabouts and all that crap. I'm going to be roughly the same way. and then I'm going to have obviously the industrial estate at the other end, so on and so forth. Now, you might think, yeah, but you had to do the Hatfield industrial estate anyway. Yes, that's true. But when I got to Avonmouth, as you would have probably seen from the footage, I didn't get held up. I just rolled to the roundabout, it was green, rolled round and roundabout, it changed. I didn't really get held up. I didn't get stopped. So not only have I got to do the Didcot industrial estate with the traffic lights to the 34, but I've got to do all the traffic lights and roundabouts around Oxford, the Ring Road and the A40. And then I've got to do Hatfield, the industrial estate there, back to base. Now I'm going to test myself. I don't know what the result is. I haven't got a clue. But given that following Fleetboard got me 10.1, if I can get, say 10.6, half a mile per gallon more as an average by the time I get back, given that this is a Fleet spec vehicle, and Fleetboard is literally that, it's Fleetboard, it's monitoring, getting your drivers to all drive relatively similar to give you a good average economy. Well, if I can get half a mile a gallon more driving my way than I do following that, and you can't argue that I haven't been following that, I mean, you've seen the scores, then is following Fleetboard really worth it? I mean, think about half a mile a gallon over an entire fleet of, say, 100 trucks doing, say, 1,000 miles a week. That's a massive fuel bill. So we shall see. I don't know why I did that. There we go. Now I don't know how it's going to turn out. I might end up with about 8.7 miles a gallon. I could end up with, you know, something under it. But I just thought, you know what, sod it. I'll give it a crack. See what I can come out with. Because I have always believed following a computer will not get you the best you can get. I've always believed that. So I thought I'd test myself. So, let's see what happens. Right, well, that's the day. It all fell apart after Lee Delamere, because I got down to Didcot and the paperwork wasn't ready. The load was, but the paperwork wasn't, so that was all a lot of fun. And I reset everything. Now, I should just turn that back on. Right, now, I didn't have, because I was in transport waiting for the paperwork, I didn't have time to do anything to this, and by the time I got the paperwork about an hour and 20 odd minutes had gone by, so it was a case of jump in and get going. But I reset the Fleetboard stuff and I reset the trip computer. Now, for anybody who wants to fact check this one, okay, anybody who wants to, the route I used, went out of Didcot to the A34, went up the A34 to the Ring Road around Oxford, so that's the 4144 and the 4142. That took me onto the A40. I then followed the A40 to the M40 all the way to the M25. Round that to South Mims and the A1, up the A1 and then off the first exit for Hatfield. And then up past the Galleria and that way. Now in total that's roughly around 128 kilometres. You can check that. Obviously it's going to be within, because you don't know the exact locations I left from. But there you go. So as you're aware, it's 128 kilometres, roughly. Did I beat that bastard? Did I beat Fleetboard? Now remember, when I went to Avonmouth, I was 30,220 kilograms. The load I brought back from Didcot, after I'd gone over their weighbridge, and as far as I'm aware it's calibrated correctly, was 28,750. Quite heavy for Didcot actually. I'm quite surprised. Usually it's a little bit lighter than that, but whatever. Now, taking into consideration I was lighter, adding in the fact that I was going around the Ring Road of Oxford, so I had the traffic lights and the roundabouts and everything else, to beat Fleetboard, I needed to have achieved half a mile a gallon better than I did when I basically got 100%. I mean, what was it? It was 90. I'm trying to remember now off the top of my head. It was 98, 99, or 99, 98, 100, 100, 100, 100, all the way down. You saw it. So what do you reckon? Did I? Of course I did. Fleetboard isn't better than me on economy. As you just saw. I beasted it. 11.3 miles a gallon. Oh well, what do I know? I'm only a driver. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share about. Do whatever it is you usually do. I shall see you in the next one. I've got something to do tomorrow, which, if all goes well, I should upload onto my channel. That will introduce one of my friends. But I don't know. It depends on how it all works out tomorrow, so I don't have a clue. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I shall see you in the next one.